and another kitchen quickie. We've been out in the garden and it is almost 11 o'clock in the morning. It just got too hot to work out there.
We actually went out to put cardboard down and then she found all this.
Yeah. And I went out the other day on Thursday afternoon and I got at least this much. I have a refrigerator now full of tomatoes and I'm going to have to process them at some point. The Lemon Boys are amazing. They are amazing producers and they're delicious. They're lower in acid than the traditional red tomatoes. But I can tell you, I bought 4 Lemon Boy tomato plants to try. And I will always have these as long as I have them available to me. They are a hybrid and I love them. Mrs. Homestead Acres says this is one of her favorite tomatoes. Now, along with the intense heat that we experienced over the last 2 weeks, over the last week, we've had a tremendous amount of rain. And what I'm saying is, when I say tremendous, I would say that we have had, in our general area, between 3 and 5 inches of rain in the last week. So we haven't had to worry about watering.
And that's what
but now I have split tomatoes.
Yep, that's what they do when they get too much rain.
See? And these Lemon Boys, and the one thing I was telling my friend Cat's Cradle, this year I decided I wasn't going to pull the suckers on my plants, and I wasn't going to stake them. I was going to let them vine naturally like tomatoes do. Tomatoes are a weed, and they have been known to trail up to a mile or longer in the wild. So, you know, they still produce fruit, you know, and you'll experience this mostly in your own garden with cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. But I decided I'm going to try this with my regular tomatoes, and it really is working well. Rick's letting the cat out. I was weed eating in the garden in between my boxes because with all this rain, the weeds in between the boxes have just gotten out of control, and I might add the weeds in my boxes are out of control. I am getting ready to adopt the back to Eden method of gardening. I'm going to contact a tree company, you know, a company that comes in and takes care of cutting down trees, and then they'll actually put that wood through a chipper. What they don't send to the lumber mill or the paper mill. We have Weyerhaeuser has a paper pulp mill here in our area, but I do believe I can still get wood chips. I'm going to see if I can get a truckload dumped in my front yard, and I'm going to, all the short boxes that I have, my 4x4s that are down the center of my garden, I'm going to literally let them rot because I did not use pressure treated lumber. I'm going to leave the deep boxes along the sides of the fence. I'm going to leave them there, and I'm going to mulch them as well inside the box. We're going to mulch around a foot outside the garden gate so that we can stop this invasive centipede grass that grows here. I absolutely hate it. The seeds spread, the grass literally lives up to its name. It's called centipede, and it literally crawls in clusters along the ground, and then it thatches together. It's horrible. I hate it. I think grass is a waste of time, a waste of space, a waste of so many things. And people are so proud of their stinking lawn. You know what? They should all dig it up and grow food.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, well, it pisses me off. My mother especially says, well, you guys should do pardon me. My mother says, well, you can only grow so much food for yourself. What would you do with all the extra? And I said, feed others. Pardon me, this is what happens when you go outside and play in the weeds. Anyway, I'll stop my little rant there because it's not very much of a quickie, is it? I wanted to show you when I was weed eating, I accidentally hit one of my rhubarb plants, but that was okay because this rhubarb needed to be picked. Now, before y'all say, oh, you can't eat green rhubarb, my rhubarb is green. This is a different strain of rhubarb. It does not turn red. It turns red occasionally. You can see this has a slight pink blush to it toward the root end. But this never turns red, and it's delicious. It tastes just like rhubarb should taste. It's tangy, and it's wonderful in cobblers, crisps, jams, and jellies. And what we're going to do with it today is I brought this in. I cut the top leaves off. You cannot eat those. They are poisonous. So after you've handled them, make sure you wash your hands well. I've also sliced off the root end where it was gnarly. So I'm just going to show you how I deal with rhubarb. And that is simply to slice it up like this. I just slice it up. I put it in a Ziploc bag, and yes, it's a plastic bag, but that's what I'm going with, okay? These claim to be BPA free. I think that because it's in the freezer, I'm not worried about anything leaching.
The aluminum bags don't work so well.
The aluminum bags don't work so well. You can put them in you can freeze this in a mason jar if you want to avoid plastic. That's absolutely acceptable. Mason jars are fabulous for storing in the freezer. You can put your broth, just don't fill it all the way up. Fill it, like, leave 2 inches at the top at least before you put it in the freezer. Otherwise, you you will lose your jar through cracking due to expansion. So I'm most likely going to actually use this rhubarb today. I have some of those strawberries that I froze, like in May. And I think we're going to have a crisp for dessert. But that's all I do. I put this in the freezer, and that's how I deal with it. And then you can take out as much as you can, break it up once it's frozen, and you just can measure what you need for your recipe and take it out and use it, and everything is good to go. I think I actually still have a bag of this out in my freezer from last year's rhubarb crop, because my rhubarb was really good last year and it's really even better this year. I added 3 more plants. So that's it. That's all I got to say today. I just wanted to share my bounty, my rant. I hate the weeds, I hate the grass, and how I deal with rhubarb. So I hope that helps, and I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.
Oh, wait.
I'll see ya.